Hello and welcome. Today, we have a couple of interesting stories about a grape victim's survival story. A man whose girlfriend betrayed and cheated on him, and a final wholesome story. Sit back, relax and enjoy. First story. I'd rather be a murder victim than a grape victim. I went home with a bar owner over Christmas break of 2017. I lived in a small town and the bar was relatively new. Very new actually. I went there to see who was in town. I was visiting from college and I'm sure others were too. The guy was behind the bar and he was the one I was the most attracted to out of anyone. So I shot my shot and he took me home. We had sex, went to bed after. I woke up later to my hands behind my back and him trying to insert himself inside me. I screamed and pleaded over and over, but it only made him more excited. He liked when I said stop and no, and when I cried. He genuinely enjoyed it. I could just tell. I remember being so confused because I could not wake up. No matter how hard I tried, I just fell deeper into sleep and would wake up over and over again throughout the night. The next day I didn't want to tell anyone. I went to lunch with friends and went back to their place. For hours I held it in until I just couldn't anymore. So I cried. And I told them. And when I drove back home I went to the hospital and said I needed a grape kit. But a sane nurse couldn't see me till morning. They took 100 pictures the next morning of my naked body that was covered in bruises. I gave me clothes to the deputies the night before. Size 6 Levi's and my favorite sweater. A police officer called me and told me that these cases are hard to prosecute, so I should gain more evidence if I can. He told me I should call him at the station while they record the conversation. It took me a month to gain the courage. I did it. He incriminated himself on the call a few times, saying how it was my fault because I said I would F him in the morning and how I was fighting him off all night and how he's just not used to rejection. When the police questioned him, he contradicted everything he said and claimed we only had sex once and he never tried anything else. The DA picked up the case and then COVID happened and I had to wait for 3 effing years to testify. And honestly I wish I just effing didn't. I thought he was going to kill me that night and I'm sad he didn't.
I went to trial and I was made to look crazy and like a whore. The defense brought up social media videos to make me look delusional and even played video of me playing my breasts like the drums as proof of self-injurious behaviors.
The jury deliberated for 2 days and the day before they announced the verdict something happened. My friend approached me at a bar. It was the first time I'd seen her since I stopped talking to her. She started working at his bar and I just cut her off.
She just came up to me and she said, "He drugged me and raped me."
I just cried and said I'm sorry. But it put a lot more pressure on the verdict. Unfortunately, the next day he was found not guilty on all counts. 4. The DA asked that the jury stay and explain and none did. They didn't care to. I actually watched one woman scoff the question. The top replies, "Everything about this is infuriating. I hate everything here. The guy, the law system. All of it." My high school girlfriend went through something similar. She was sexually assaulted, I don't know to what extent, because she didn't talk about it much, by her ex-boyfriend before me. She told her best friend at the time, who went on to date the guy shortly after, "F that bitch," and then nobody until me a year later. About 6 months later, she got drunk New Year's Eve. This was the first time she'd ever drank. She crashed in my bed around 9 that night and she just seemed really off. Not because she was drunk, but because she just seemed disturbed by something. Sometime after midnight, she woke up screaming. She told me then that she had decided to tell her parents and report the ex to the police. At that point, I understood. She was so effing terrified of the whole situation, she couldn't do it sober. She was an underage girl who'd rather walk into a police station drunk to report it than try dealing with it sober. She'd told me what happened with the police later and I don't think I'd ever been so mad. They told her that since it was so long after it happened, they wouldn't be able to do anything. There wasn't any evidence, I get that. But Jesus Christ, they didn't even talk to the guy. Watching her go through that, it broke my heart. The feelings I had I can't even explain, and I had no part of it other than being the person she talked to about it. I've seen what grape and the way it is handled can do to a person. But I probably won't ever imagine exactly what it's like to go through it personally. Not to that extent. I am so incredibly sorry. The second reply. I was sexually assaulted when I was 13. A freshman with a senior boyfriend. No one cared enough to talk about what happens next when you start kissing and making out, he taught me. It was never reported, but the whole school knew I was a slut that put out. I'm 40 now. I have 3 sons and have been married to the same man for 20 years. I am a survivor, and that is my justice. Every day knowing that he didn't ruin me, didn't break me. I still have nightmares. My boys are all told to never walk up behind me if they don't want mom to startle and elbow them in the stomach or jewels. But he didn't break me. I know it's hard, being a survivor is a 24/7 battle because it affects everything. But sister, you got this, I promise you. Lean on your friends, family, and keep telling yourself, he can't break me, I'm a survivor. F him. F the jury, I'm a survivor. Second story. I abandoned my girlfriend and her friends in another city after I caught her cheating. Kinda long, sorry. Fake names also. So, this happened on Sunday. Me, 35 male, and Maria, 33F, have been together for maybe 5 months but have known each other for 10 plus years. I met her through her sister Maya, 34F. Me and Maya used to work at a strip club in our early 20s for a while. We were friends with benefits for a while till we both felt more of a brother-sister vibe, and she became one of my best friends during that time. She quit the club when she got pregnant and I met Maria at the baby shower. Maya has always been the black sheep while Maria has been the goody-goody in the family. Their mom was very religious and so was Maria, but not Maya or their dad. Their mom died maybe a year and a half ago though. Maya ended up setting us up way back then, but I was moving away for a bit to work so it didn't work out at the time. We would hang out whenever I was in town, but the timing wasn't right for a lot of reasons. Fast forward to this past summer when we reconnected at a bar when I was visiting some friends in that part of town. I live 20 minutes away and work a lot, so I'm not over there often. I hadn't seen her in maybe a year. We hugged and ended up talking all night and into the morning. She had definitely changed in the time we've been apart. While Maya is very attractive, Maria is a certified baddie. She looks like a thick Becky G. When we were hanging out back then she was really modest, but since her mom passed she opened up a lot, started dressing up and all that. We talked about a lot of stuff and she told me I was her first adult crush and she kinda hoped we'd get married and have kids when we were young. We were both drunk, but she started crying and we went to her place and just talked all night. She told me she loved me that morning over waffles when we were sober. We started dating quick and went official and all has been good. I do work a lot but we spent all our free time together. Sex has been great, she opened up about that too. She's confessed that she's bi but has only been with one girl when she was young and been wanting to hook up with a girl with my permission. She knows about my history and that I've been cheated on multiple times by different girls, so I'm not into sharing like that, but she'd bring it up every so often that it wasn't something I'm interested in right now. Fast forward to this Sunday. She has a group of friends and 2 of them are getting married in a few months, Victor, 34 male, and Andrea, 30 female. As well as Jose and Reina. The engaged couple are getting married about 3 hours away and they wanted to go and see how everything is and make more plans for that weekend. Basically a mini vacation. We worked out a deal where Vic was gonna pay for everyone's rooms and I'd drive cause I'm the only one with a big vehicle to drive all 6 of us. Vic has big money so it's not a problem for him and I didn't mind driving.
We had a good Saturday exploring and seeing the wedding site, and Sunday we were gonna go bar hopping and stuff.
We went to this spot that has a bunch of clubs and bars in walking distance. Eventually Jose wanted to go to a bar to see the second half of the Super Bowl, so the guys and girls split up and were gonna meet after the game. The girls ended up at this gay club so we walked over there and it was pretty busy. We got in and went looking for them. We found Andrea at the bar getting a drink and Reina was in the restroom. There was a long line and she said Maria went to go look for Andrea while she waited in line. We go looking for Maria and Reina sees her first and I see the look on her face and start looking around. Reina doesn't even say anything and takes Jose and they walk away and Andrea is like what the F. Then I see what's up. See the club has these lil booths that open up like little cabanas. There I see Maria getting fingered by some girl basically and some dude is grabbing her tits and kissing her. Like basically tongue F-ing her. Vic looks at me like I was gonna go start a fight but I don't know. I literally felt dead inside and just left, went back to the hotel and got my things then drove all the way home. Yesterday Vic and Jose hit me up separately and said it was messed up I left them stranded but they understood and no hard feelings but Andrea called me and said I was an idiot and said I should have manned up and confronted her then and would have seen that Maria was super messed up and not in her right state of mind.
Supposedly, she got wasted. I've seen her drink and she can hold her liquor so that doesn't compute with me.
Vic said after I left Andrea went and got her and she started crying when they told her I saw everything. Maria called me and texted me begging for me to just talk to her this morning and showed up at my job but I'm taking the rest of the week off so they told her I wasn't there. Maya came by earlier and as soon as I saw her I started crying. I haven't felt this way in so long. She told me she understands and we talked for a while and she told me she's gonna tell her sister to just leave me alone and if I want to talk to her I will. I just can't forgive betrayal and she knows this. I've cut family off for less, and it's nothing for me to drop someone out of my life if I have to. I've been alone most of my life so it doesn't matter anyway. What really gets me is before all this was going on she started bringing up having kids and getting married. Even making comments at the venue Saturday that I'd look handsome in a suit but we could get married in flip-flops and she'd be happy. I can't get the look of her face out of my head from the club. Sorry this is so long I just needed to be vent. I don't know. First reply. Sue where were her friends? That doesn't exactly get to that point when you turn your head. That couple had been working on her all night, and her friends were complicit. Otherwise, they would have run that couple off from the start. Those girls were covering for her. You're lucky to have someone like Maya in your life. She sounds like someone you can count on. The second reply. Don't worry about what Andrea has to say. It's nonsense. Maria being drunk doesn't excuse her getting a threesome going at a booth in a bar. Seems Renya had no problem watching her cheat on you. Stay busy. Stay active. Go for long walks while listening to some upbeat music. Read some great novels while at home.
No need to ever speak to Maria again.
Absolutely no reason. You know what she did. Whatever she has to say won't change that. The third reply. Red flag 1 started showing when she confessed love to you after seeing each other after such a long time. Red flag 2 was her perpetual talk about being with other women and wanting your permission to do so despite knowing your position on the whole thing. Red flag 3 for me would have been her wedding and kids talk while you were touring someone else's wedding venue. This woman is not wonderful. She's one of many who is desperate to check a box for husband and kids while continuing to live her life as a single, free-spirited bisexual person. The third story. My husband made me cry on Valentine's Day. Yesterday, Valentine's Day, was my husband's 27th birthday. We did some very low-key things because we're financially recovering from a big move. I made him a huge, delicious breakfast. We went out to a few shops and messed around and spent the little birthday money he got. And got a snack and some slushies from a local gas station. Then he had to go back to work, so I drove him. While I waited for him to get off, I made him a cake to surprise him with when he got home. Our little family sang happy birthday and we had cake. It turned out pretty good too. After cake we were sitting in the kitchen and he looked like he was thinking. I asked if he had a good birthday. He looked at me with a huge smile that I haven't gotten to see in a while. This is the best birthday I've had in a long time. I honestly teared up. I had to go in the bathroom a little while later and stop myself. The more I thought about it, the happier it made me. I often worry if I'm doing enough as a wife, because he takes such good care of me. And it really cemented it. He's had such a rough life and we together have had such a rough time in the last year. It made me so happy to see him like that. The top replies. I got super anxious reading the title. But the more I dug into your text, the more it made me happy. I am so happy for you both, that you guys had an amazing day, especially birthday. I am relieved you cried out of happiness and I wish you both a life filled with happiness. The second reply. I'm glad this was a happy ending story. It's nice to hear that your marriage is going well and you're both happy during this sad era we live in. I hope your marriage continues to be blessed.